everyone, and welcome to the SwiftCase Productivity Podcast. And today I've got with me
Craig McCarthy, Development Manager at SwiftCase.
I'm Phil Whitby, Developer.
I'm Adam Sykes, the founder of SwiftCase, the professional productivity platform. And today we're on another one of our book review episodes, and we're doing, I suppose you could consider this a classic, couldn't you? It's the work of a Nobel Prize winner in economics, I think.
And psychology.
I think it was economics, wasn't it? I think so.
Fantastic.
You can check, we can add that in. But anyway, it's Daniel Kahnemann's Thinking Fast and Thinking Slow. And so I suppose, do you want to kick off, Phil?
Yeah, I love this book, obviously, because I think a lot of that, what I write articles about, are based on what I learned from this. I think it came out in 2011, even though it feels like it's been this well-established Bible. There have been some criticisms of it recently, which I'll get into a bit later, but it still stands up, even though it made a big splash at the time. I think it still stands up to 8 years later for most of it. But it's a fantastic way of addressing your own internal biases when it comes to making decisions about economics specifically, but in other parts of your life as well.
Yeah.
So, it does a really good job of summarising the biases that are really important, that affect you and your day-to-day life and in politics as well. And also, he has little strategies to kind of mitigate those biases as well. He doesn't just say, this is the way it is, oh well.
Yeah.
He has, and it's like in little aphorisms at the end of each chapter, how to deal with it. I think it's more than a book. It's so dense, it's so rich.
It's practical, isn't it, as well?
It's very amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it goes further than the other books that we've read in terms of reliability, because he's constantly referring to studies, although we'll get onto that a bit later.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how did you find it?
I mean, I think it's a really great book, and I think there's some things that are intuitive that that's how it was, and he's putting the research behind things that everyone already sort of knows about biases, especially people about statistics and people think they're going to win the lottery and
the gut
things
feeling,
like gut feelings and so on. And I think also his work's been probably repeated in different forms over the recent years. The idea, and I know there's a book about the chimp brain, about the way athletes have been helped by a certain person who helped them to discover their chimp brain, which is effectively the System 1 brain, or the there's other examples of different modes of thinking, like the elephant and the person riding the elephant, the System 1, System 2. So I think his ideas have invaded sort of other certainly popular science, I suppose you could call it, whereas this is a proper science book,
exactly.
Although it is written in an accessible way that anyone can read, and as you said, it's got really sort of practical applications, and I think it's a very important book, especially in the current state we're in now, like you mentioned, politics. I think about how biases are affecting the way people think and how they are retreating into System 1 thinking.
System 1,
especially the confirmation bias is a massive issue today. Where people are retreating into their groups and only seeking out, especially on the internet, only seeking out things that match their sort of picture of the world, and I think it's really good book to sort of understand the sort of the science of the brain or psychology, but also to apply it to the current situation we're in. It's also applicable to other things like marketing. There's good good advice on how to market to people, how emotions,
marketers used to appeal to System 2. Right? So they go, we assume you're a rational person, look at all these rational choices that this product, if you choose our product, it's because it has this and this, let's list all the features. But actually, it turns out people weren't really applying their rational thinking because they didn't want to activate that in their leisure time. So when you're serving people things, they're not wanting to go ooh and think really hard about which kind of soft drink they're going to buy.
You don't get a can of Coke advertised with a 20 milligrams of caffeine.
Exactly. Look, read all this huge. they wanted to
250 mils.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like someone, or Pepsi Max. It's someone jumping out of a aeroplane, isn't it, or something like that?
Exactly,
it's not like
it's exciting to buy it.
I'm really thirsty. Let's buy a drink.
Although I think, admittedly, I think my girlfriend would agree that I use my System 2 brain whenever I have to make a decision at a restaurant.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's why people tend to choose the same things at restaurants, because they want that leisure time. It's like they just go in and go, oh yeah, I had that last time, that's fine. You're always part of it. It's called heuristics, where you kind of make a model of the world, and you store it in System 1 and go, okay, this is tasty. A good experience is to go to this restaurant and have this food. Let's go and have a good experience. Yeah. So, and like people then feel themselves as being kind of building a picture of the world that's complete because they repeatedly do the same things.
Sounds like Craig doesn't. So what are you doing in a restaurant, Craig, that everyone else isn't?
Usually making awful decisions, to be fair. But I always go in and I know what I want, but then I think, well, maybe I should try this new thing. They've got something new on the menu. Is it a
fight between...
Everything is a constant fight when it comes to making a decision with me, because I don't want to miss out on a potential my new favourite.
But then you kind of go, well, what if I don't like it?
Well, that's exactly it.
And then so it's that kind of...
And it gets into a loop.
A loop without a return or escape or whatever.
Yeah, that's my whole life, really, when it comes to eating.
Well, that's a heuristic, isn't it? It's like your idea of the world is that it's fun to do this thing, and then for it to be fun, you have to make the right kind of choice. But then when there's pressures on the choice, it becomes so difficult. You answer a different question. So one of the things he's talking about in there is that when given a difficult question, your System 2 goes, answer this easier question.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so you can't go. So your first question is, can I have a good evening or something, or should I choose a meal? And then it goes, why don't you just choose what you had last time? You go, oh, okay, that's my choice. When it's not really a choice at all. You've said, done something else. You've lapsed into an easier path because your System 2 sometimes goes, oh, I haven't got all the information. And it's going to be too much effort and mental effort to do it. So just fall back on your strategy that you used before.
Yeah. Or in more cases, it never gets to System 2.
Exactly.
System 1's already blurted out the response before you've even thought about this. That's when you get certain
that's
other
what
decisions.
Happens. Yeah, the waiter comes over and I just go, chips.
Steak and chips. Give me the man's meal on here. But the thing about, I've mentioned earlier, was the criticisms against it. One of the, I think it's chapter 4 or something, is on priming, where you kind of have anchor effects, and you're susceptible to suggestions from the environment. And it turns out a lot of the studies had really vanishingly small sample sizes. And actually the effect of priming has been massively exaggerated, and it's not replicated. So part of this book has been tarnished a bit because of the replication crisis that's hit psychology, where it turns out a lot of the sacred cows in psychology, such as if you bite a pencil, you smile, and therefore affects you. All those, it turns out they're not replicated, and some of the studies in this were not replicated either. But the good thing is, Kahnemann came out and said, that's fine, I made a mistake. But the rest of it's still valid.
Yeah,
the rest is still valid. And also, just because they aren't, those studies are failed, we'll have to do them properly.
Yeah, it doesn't mean they're wrong, does it? It just means that it needs a more rigorous...
Yeah, exactly. Which demonstrates he's willing to kind of acknowledge his own bias. Yeah. And then,
But anchoring, I mean, like, when you read the anchoring chapter, that makes logical sense, doesn't it? If you say to someone, like... how long is a road? Is it north? Or is it 10 miles or 50 miles? People are going to pick
between those values.
Values, aren't they? And if you say how big is it? How many thousand miles is this? People are going to think, oh, it's definitely thousands. It could be 1,000, couldn't it? But you've anchored them to thousands.
It does work,
the unit, so it could be hundreds of thousands. You've said thousands, so they're thinking, oh, it must be 5,000. So that's you do anchor people. That one I think is kind of that's quite basic. He just did an experiment that said, oh, what you think is true. But I think that one, the priming one, I suppose, I suppose is a bit different, isn't it? Because that's kind of like, can you put someone in the right frame of mind to then make a decision based on what they've been told beforehand?
That's right. Yeah.
That's not necessarily even connected. Yeah. So it's not like telling someone. The anchoring's more like give people a top end or give someone a point of reference. They'll go so far to that point of reference, and actually their figures will be changed by whatever the point of reference is you give them, which I think probably
that's fine. Yeah,
that makes sense. But the priming one is like, we'll tell them something completely different, but because it's put them in a certain frame of mind, it will affect their choice on a secondary a secondary question.
An example is where he brings up something that I really like as well, but where talking about happiness is affected by things around. So you can say, you ask someone, are you happy now? But then their response could be affected by something that's just happened recently. So they don't answer the question, am I happy? They answer a different question, which is, what is my mood?
Yeah.
Right? Because they can sort of go, oh, my mood is, I just found a penny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. It's like
they ask you, are you happy with your life? And they'll answer, are you happy now?
Yeah, that's
something, because something just has happened.
Yeah. Or like they can show an effect. I think that was the issue. It's like they actually put like a quarter on the photocopier. They asked them to go to the photocopy first, and then they find the quarter. And those that found the quarter would report a much higher level of general happiness.
Yeah.
But it was always, and it was the same when people are married. Like they report that around the time that they get married, they report a much higher level of happiness.
Yeah.
Before than they do before and after, and it goes right down.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think he addresses that really well as it being a flaw in the technique. But
I suppose a lot of that's I don't know whether you saw what's his name, the guy who does the mentalist stuff. Darren Brown. When he like primed people to produce a particular.
But I think that's the thing that's rubbish.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
And that's where it's like, how can you have all these effects so long after to then prime people to make a specific decision?
Yeah, that's not true. I think that those kinds of, that kind of power doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because I remember at the time thinking, wow, this is amazing. It's going to be, if I use this neurolinguistic programming, I'll be a magician, and it's like, it's just not happened.
Yeah. So I think that's where like people have maybe extrapolated from his book or extrapolated from similar studies and taken it to the nth degree where it just becomes absurd.
Yeah, the effects are never as large as they appear to be.
Yeah, and they can be overcome, although confirmation bias seems to be a particularly hard one to overcome.
There are loads in there.
Especially at this point in time in our...
I don't think the internet helps, does it, really?
No. Not when you can get whatever, you can find your own bias and stick inside your own.
We were saying this morning, it was like, you can find multiple videos on YouTube because of the algorithm that confirm it, and it feels like you've done the research. I've looked at multiple sources. It's only when you dig down you realise you haven't.
No.
That's all. None of those are really sources.
Yeah, and it's that quote from The Thick of It that I really like, where Malcolm Tucker says, you're not speaking to the right expert. You've got to find the right expert.
Okay,
right,
so if you've read the book or you want to talk to us about any of the other issues in today's podcast, then drop a comment down below.
And if you've enjoyed our book review, then make sure the next page you read is swiftcase.co.uk. And don't forget to head over to at SwiftCaseUK for all our social media goodness.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Great. If you follow us on social media and give us a comment about our book review, then we'll enter you into a draw to win a copy of the book, and you can read it for yourself if you haven't already. And other than that, we'll see you again next time. Thank you for listening.